I cannot imagine myself today having to fetch water because I want to take a shower. I might as well just fucking not bath. Do you know what I mean? I might as well not bath.
Well, lucky the UK is not like that. You can just step into your bathroom, your shower, open the tap, and the water is there.
And then we would die if there's no hot water coming out. We're like, oh my God, there's no hot water. There's no hot water.
Did you have hot water in your school?
Okay, let me. Right,
that's a no.
Let me explain this experience. This is me brand new going to Nigeria. Okay, I think I had understood that there was not going to be hot water all the time.
All the time.
But what had happened is, I actually, you know what? For the first year or two, probably bribed my way through. I'll explain. Because we had the teachers that would look after us, or the adults that would look after, they're called housemasters.
Corruption.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're called housemasters, isn't it? Now, the housemasters, there was one particular housemester that actually I think someone knew him, or it was a fact, or he was basically looking after me, basically. And he will boil water in his kettle in his room. And so then when I get my cold water, I'll fill it out halfway, and then I'll just pour hot water. So I always had warm water for about...
Professor Finesse.
Probably for about the first year.
Look at you.
Fam, I'm not going to...
How much did you pay this housemaster?
Well, that wasn't really bribed. He just knew he had to look after me because I was the commodity in that. Was it commodity?
Yeah. You are the assets.
I was the asset.
Well, because you were international student.
Because I was the international motherfucker up in that bitch.
I can't believe you got this treatment.
I was the international one in that school. So if I had a bad experience, do you understand what I mean?
This is preferential treatment.
That's pretty much what it was.
This is backwards in our fight for equality and justice in the world.
Other people didn't know.
Why would they know?
They're not gonna. Why would they? Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I would think they would realize. Do you know what I mean?
How would they realize that you're bathing in warm water if they don't ask you?
We all had to bath in the same bloody room.
Yeah, but how would you know?
Like if water pours in it or something, I don't know. Or if I said it.
Yeah, but you didn't say it. Because you knew that you are indulging in corruption of the highest
order.
order.
You know what the thing is? I didn't really.
Okay, you weren't indulging in corruption. You didn't bribe the man. He just gave you the hot water.
Yeah. So I kind of see it as one of those experiences where I got what I wanted. Pretty much.
Right now, I'm publicly hating on Manny.
You can keep hating.
Because I didn't get hot water. I had cold water.
Don't get it twisted. I had cold. Bear in mind. So,
bruh, you got a kettle. You got hot kettle water.
Yeah, for only a year. So I found it harder coming to my second year, and all I have is cold water.
You had a whole year with hot water. I didn't have no year with hot water, bro.
Bathing with cold water, never.
You get used to it in Nigeria.
You get used to it.
Yeah, Nigeria's hot.
It's fucking boiling.
Yeah,
but you get used to it. But that's the definition of you being ashy. You better go get some Vaseline and clean yourself then, because once you use that cold water, your skin is like that. Your skin is rock hard. Yeah,
if you know what, in Nigeria, because it's so hot, even if you didn't cream yourself, you'd probably end up sweating anyway.
Yeah.
So you'd be okay.
You got a point. Yeah, you got a point there.
Like you wouldn't. It's not like over here where
I could never do that in
London. Bro. I have my skincare
routine. I would actually cut
my baby oil, my vitamin E cocoa butter. Sorry, continue.
Come on. Your vitamin oil, face
baby
wash?
Oil. Oh, I don't do that face wash. I was gonna say. Yeah, I didn't.
Come on, what else do you do?
I have vitamin E and cocoa butter combination. And sometimes I use cocoa butter gel, Vaseline. You can get that from Superdrug. You better pay me an endorsement. I need a bag. A bag?
Only a bag?
A grand. I need a grand because I just mentioned your product. But that's what I use. But
I need a few millions to
endorse. Yeah, we need to get to their
shout
level.
Out to Fanta. Shout out to Limca.
You begging for endorsements? Oh, disgusting. It's like disgusting. Anyway,
so the cold water, but even the process to get that water. Forget the hot water.
Oh, wait, you mean the fetching water?
The water is a journey. Now, for you, that probably was a little bit different.
Fam.
For me, me, I could just go downstairs.
Who's going first?
I will go first. 'Cause
Okay,
mine
you
will
go
be quite
first.
quick. Mine will be quite quick because I could just go downstairs. There's sometimes you could go downstairs, turn on the tap and walk. Sometimes, but this is the but. When there's no water coming out, we are talking the whole hostel. So now, 6 times 5
30.
times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Thank you.
360.
An average of 360 children plus 6 adults plus more had to
370.
line up for. So you know, in Nigeria they have these big tanks.
Yeah.
What we will do
had
is,
a
oh gosh, I can't believe. So it's like a borehole sort of thing.
Borehole, yeah, it's called borehole.
You would have to climb, like literally, I could plummet to my death. Okay? So you climb up and you take the thing off. So now, bear in mind, because the water's so low, that's the only water in the school. So you're hanging off and kind of dipping your water.
Your borehole wasn't even full.
It wasn't even full when there's no water in the. Yeah, so you had to dip in with your bucket and catch water pretty much. Now 360 whatever people had to do the same thing, and someone probably had to do it more than once because you had to do it for the adults, and some people had to do it for the seniors.
So the seniors.
So
Just for context, in Nigeria, there's like juniors and seniors. Someone that was like 2 years older or more was considered your senior, and that meant
even
they
1
could.
year. What, so
Oh, your school was like, yeah. We had informal relationships with the one. So if JS1, year 7, we had like informal relationships with the year 8s, but at year 9, JS3 could basically send you to fetch water. So you could be going to fetch water with 2 buckets.
Yeah. So yeah, that struggle. So you had to do that, and there's like, and I always just remember thinking you could literally just drop in there and it's a wrap for you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But everyone seems to be fucking fearless. Even I was fearless, surprisingly.
In my school, we had wells. You had boreholes. We had wells. So if the taps weren't working, you would go into the well. If you dropped in that well, you were basically done out here. But in the well, they had like steps. So you'd go into it, step down, put your bucket in, and then come back
Oh God.
with outside of the well with the full bucket of water.
And bear in mind, that water might not even be clean.
No.
It might have all these
Yeah.
bloody parasites.
There was
and
this chemical that we actually used to use that would clean the
clean
water
it,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a purifier or
shit.
whatever.
First aid, no. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. It was something, yeah.
We used to like spin it in the water and it
someone
would
tried to
literally
drink it.
clear the dust.
Disgusting.
And you'll see all the dust
Go to the bottom.
at the bottom of the water. But yeah, on a normal day though, we had taps because the taps in the bathroom in the hostels hardly worked. So there was never a situation where you woke up and you went straight to the bathroom. It was after devotion. Okay, so again, okay.
We'll get to that. Just keep
Okay,
going. Keep
after
going.
devotion, you will take your bucket of water and you'd basically have to run to the tap. Now, in my boarding school was different from yours. My boarding school was like a 35-acre campus. So there was like 16 buildings in the boarding school, and there were like taps all around the school. There was one that was
That
like...
never worked.
No, they
Taps
worked
that
for the
never
most part, but the ones in the hostels
Yeah.
didn't work. So it was a given that you were going to fetch water. There was one tap that was like a 3 to 5 minute walk.
Yeah.
That was the one where if you got there on time, you could run to fetch your water and come back.
Yeah.
There was another one like at the bottom of the school. Our hostel is here.
Yeah.
It's like here, and you'd have to run for a good 90 seconds, 2 minutes. Now, if you're running, like,
not walking.
no,
I'm
you're
a
running.
lazy
You're like striding. Like, you're not jogging. You're like jogging fast. So it's a distance. That was the one you went to if you knew the taps were going to be busy. But you essentially had to go and fetch water. Sometimes you'd be waiting for half an hour, 45 minutes. Bear in mind, we ain't got phones. You're just there waiting for your water, thinking about life, looking at the grass. And if a senior came, they could chance you. Chance is essentially when you get bumped, or it's essentially when a senior would come and take your place.
You know what? And people, you know what used to happen? Some people thought they were slick and could leave the bucket in the line. If you leave the bucket in the line, it's a wrap for you. They will
Yeah.
use your bucket to give everyone.
Only
else
seniors
water.
could do that.
Only seniors
Yeah.
could do that. Yeah.
Only a senior could do that. And then even then, if you had like a GSS3 student put their bucket there, and then you had like a SS3, so a year 12
be
student
like
come, it's done. That bucket that bucket is getting shifted behind.
You know, that fetching water situation is just, it's a disaster. I can't think of any other point. Like, when I look back at it, it's just a mess. But I will say, like, our day to day morning. Let's even tell the people a day to day life.
Day to day.
One day in a boarding school for you to experience how it will start. First thing is first. Morning devotion.
Morning devotion. Hey, what time did you wake up for devotion?
I think we had to wake up at 6 or something like that.
I think mine was 5:30, bro.
Oh, you know what? Low-key, I feel like it was 5 just because we had to... Yeah, 6. Sorry, it was 6.
Yours was 6?
6.
Yeah, I think ours was like 5:30.
6. And there was 1 year, and if anyone, like, I went to secondary school with... I don't speak to you anymore, but sorry.
Wow.
But anyone I went to secondary school with, they will remember this man. This man lasted 1 year. This man lasted 1 year as our housemaster. It was like, you know when someone sends a physical devil to manage? You know like when you get a brand new head teacher that wants to show his rules?
Yeah.
This is how it felt. This man, Mr. Lawal, I'm going to call him out. It probably maybe probably half dead today.
Wow.
Who knows? But anyway, this man, he forever carried like a cane, aka a wooden stick, in his armpits. Like, it was a disaster. Like, hold on 1 second. He will carry a cane in his armpits like that. And in the morning, praising the Lord. He's singing to Jesus. I don't know how the devil and Jesus sing. Praising the Lord. Oh, with what? Praising the Lord.
That's to wake up.
That's to wake up. So trust and believe. Whoever's in the first set of rooms
was getting whooped.
It's a wrap for you. It's a wrap for you. So if you're in the end rooms and you're up and you're ready to get ready for morning devotion, then you're lucky. Do you see what I mean? But when you get that man, it caused so much havoc in that school. But every morning you'll have to wake up for... Normal housemaster will just wake you up or they'll ring the bell or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone had to... And if you didn't wake up, then it was
You're
whatever.
getting whooped.
You're getting whooped, pretty much. And then you'll get ready. I think you'll put on your dead houseware. We'll talk about that later. You'll put on your clothes. And then... Or you sing songs. And so I always used to dread... when you had to take turns and pick a song.
Why?
Because I'm not very good at, like, picking that church
I always
songs.
had a selection in my head.
I need one of those because I'm never good at picking church songs. I remember once your dad did that when I came to spend Christmas with you.
He told you to make a song.
I know, they were all picking songs and I was like, oh, shit. Like, he's going to have to come to me. So obviously I went for the, praising the Lord.
That's the standard.
Because I was hoping no one picked that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I always used to dread that, and also you had to sing it as well. So it was almost just, and at the time, I didn't think I was the wonderful music producer I am today. At the time, I was just Manny in it. So but yeah, go on.
I ain't gonna say your government name.
Go on, it's fine.
Oh, what you want me to talk about? What devotion? Huh? So 5:30 in the morning. Sharp. In the morning, 5:30 a.m. This is what you would hear. Morning devotion. Everybody out of your bed.
So would you
morning devotion?
As in a, you
so
would do
my
it in a big, did you? Well,
my
house, we had a big room. We had one big room, and then we had all these little rooms. So that one big room, we would all have to meet there and then do it there in our flats.
We did mine in the corridor. So the way my hostel was essentially a corridor. And you had rooms on both sides. That was one. The other hostel, it only had like 6 rooms on one side. So it was rooms, corridor, entrance.
Yeah.
So you would get called out at 5:30 and you essentially had to get out of your bed and get onto the corridor on time. And what the housemaster used to do, or the head boy, if they were in the hostel, was they would say 10, 9, 8. If they get to 1 and you're not out
Done.
and you're not ill, you're getting baked. There was always a cane or a belt on deck. So you had to be out, you're half asleep, and then you do praise and worship.
Jesus Christ.
Praising the Lord. Always, always. Praising the Lord, always. Praising the Lord with all my heart, with all my heart. Praising the Lord with all my heart, always. Hallelujah, the Lord is good. Hallelujah, the Lord is good. Hallelujah, the Lord is good. He's good to me.
He is good to me, oh.
Your voice is sick.
So, that morning devotion will happen, and then we weren't allowed to. Well, this is where I was quite, particularly when I first got to Nigeria, is where I was very like, "Are you actually being serious?" Is that we couldn't wear our own clothes.
Yeah.
So you had to wear housewear.
Yeah.
So you had to wear housewear, and if I could, the only way I can describe housewear, I'll actually show you this picture. The only way I could describe housewear is check.
Yeah, it's literally a checked shirt.
Like that. So like this is what that's what the girls would wear.
That's it.
And you would have a check shirt and a solid like blue or whatever color it is.
Yes.
Like trouser. It was just
I had like chino brown trousers, but yeah.
Yeah. What did you have different colors? So some people had blue, some blue was the generic really.
You mean with the checkered shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had blue, yellow, red, and I think green.
Green, yeah.
Just for context, in Nigeria, in boarding schools, they typically have what you call houses, and houses are essentially groups of students that tend to compete with like sports.
Yeah, it's kind of like our houses we do with sports in this school. So like in the UK, so kind of like when we do sports day, we all have our different colours or
basically or different teams.
Teams. So that's basically what that was. And being, the swagger don I am today, do you know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me nothing, okay? You can't tell me nothing.
Do you not think like housewear looks nice?
It depends. No, because it got to a point where probably when I was more seasoned in the game. Look at me, seasoned in the game of being in Nigeria. But when I was more seasoned in the game, I used to get a tailor to make my own. So we all of us, like people my year, we used to cater our. So we used to get a tailor to make our own. So we'll buy our own. Like
you
material.
had hot water. You had a caterer.
I had hot water.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had hot water. You had a caterer. You didn't have to run for
a
good.
What
I said a caterer, tailor.
No, not in the school. This was when I'm at
But
home.
you got one, fair.
Yeah, so we paid for one to make a houseware.
Right.
And back then, boot cut was the shit.
So
you would have to. So you would make it like you would make it kind of like skinny trousers. And then it come into your boot cut. And if that shit didn't cover your shoes, it wasn't the shit. Do you know what I mean?
Boot cuts was...
It was the one. You will never catch me dead in boot cuts today.
Okay, I've retired from boot cuts, but yeah.
It took him quite
a while. I stopped wearing when did I start wearing boot cuts? When I was like 18, 19?
2015.
It wasn't that bad. Look, I've never really cared what people have thought about what I wear. So, you see me? I used to wear boot cuts.
He's upgrading now, small.
Yeah, I'm upgrading now.
Wearing a black t-shirt that fit him.
Buying Zara trainers, getting my hair cut. I've even plaited my hair. You don't want to see what my hair looks like today. Yeah. But, we are getting there. We are making progress in the evolution of Richard Fagbolagun.
Wow.
Shut up, bro.
So you would have to wear your housewear. Yeah. Whenever you're in the hostel, housewear only.
Yeah.
Every now and like I said, as I became an elder in the game, you would swag it with like a white t-shirt.
Or a t-shirt under. Yeah. We used to do that.
You could do one or two things with it. And look, you had to work with what you had. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had to work with what you had. You'll get ready for school. So after that, we'll get ready for school.
After devotion,
that means you go get your water, find a way. When I became more seasoned in the game, I used to get my water the night before. So particularly when I was in JS2 probably was the hardest year for that my year group, because we had Oh, we had a senior. Okay, let me tell this story. This is actually really.
What is this?
Senior. His name is Ife.
All right. Shout out to Ife Oluwa.
Ife Banjo.
This sounds like
Banjo,
therapy.
Whatever. It pretty much is. And I remember we were all gassed to. I scraped passing first year. I entered on trial.
On a trial.
And we were so gassed to be in like JS2. We're like, at least we're not new. You know what I mean?
Fair.
We all picked our rooms because at this point we all knew each other as well coming in. And we all picked our room. And I remember picking 1, 2, 3. I was in room 4, so it was further on in. And there was there's bunk beds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of us in that room, all there. The senior then walked into, I think they started this new thing of one senior in like the head boy, like in the, the prefects, prefects, one senior had to stay in one flat, so they were in charge of like, so he was in charge of.
How would you define prefects, by the way? For
kind of like head boy, head girl, food prefects.
Yeah, food prefects.
Prefects for open the fucking door. Assembly prefects.
Yeah.
A prefect for this, a prefect for that.
Yeah.
There were prefects for everything.
Basically.
And he was in charge of ours.
Yeah.
And I never really knew him because in first year, I had the school father, so, it was...
Oh, yeah.
You had school fathers, but we'll talk about that. You had school fathers who would, like, look after you in it.
Yeah.
And my school father left the school. So he was in that, so he came into our room. And this sounds so traumatic now when I think about it. But at the time, I think I was just a G and I took it. He walked into the room and he was like, if you can't take punches, slaps, kicks to the head, get out now. I vividly remember that. And for some, don't know what possessed me. Maybe it was the devil that held my feet down. I stayed in the room. But the two people left. So 6 of us stayed. And he took his top bunk that was as you entered. And then one other person joined. The last person that came in that day, that's the only choice they had. So he was pissed.
Shout out to that unfortunate person.
Yeah. And, bruv. It was, that year, one hand, it was probably the most memorable. And I had Sheyi, I can't be Oluwa. He was in my...
Why are you being that?
I'm going to say it. He was in my room. Who else was there? I can't even remember any of them. See, clearly I could care less about them.
Yeah.
But anyways. And that year, he lived up to what he said. Okay? Because if our room was not clean, because they would do this massive assembly where it's like the neatest room is and we'll win awards.
Yeah.
Our room always won that bitch. And the 1 week we didn't.
We used to have them competitions as well.
The 1 week we didn't. I remember coming back and I could hear boom, boom, boom. So he had already started beating them, but I was late.
Why didn't you go?
Where am I going to?
I swear. You ain't born in school.
And so he went, as I walked in, I had to ride a motorcycle. I literally just had to be in that night in the room, my hand out.
Wait, do you want to describe the punishment?
I don't even know how to.
Okay,
Yeah.
in Nigeria, there was this punishment. What you call it motorcycle, we used to call it angle 90. And with
pretty
angle
much,
90, you would have to like essentially go to a wall, squat, and be like this.
Stay in the squat.
And you would have to stay in the squat. And
for hours.
And if you dropped,
Or
you
came
got
up
beat.
a little bit. Or
Or
wasn't
imbalanced.
90 degree.
You would literally get beat. When I tell you,
It's abuse.
when I say it, you probably would. Your legs would feel like I don't even know.
Like you've done a workout. That's probably
Worse than a workout.
That's probably why I've got good.
What?
That's probably why I've got good. What do you call these? Calves.
Calves.
That's probably why I might look mad.
Bruv.
Because I did that shit all the time.
That's what. It's worse than a workout or a squat because a squat you get to go down and up. This one you are staying at literally angle 90 degrees. That's why it was called angle 90.
Can we establish the fact that? Because I'm literally just thinking about it now. It's not a teacher telling me to do this.
No. It's a senior.
This is someone
Literally a senior.
that's just a little bit older than
yeah.
me. Fuck you,
Right.
wherever you are. But anyways, I'll continue. he was beating them with a belt. So if they and I vividly remember when it just shit. He got mad and he was hitting, and then someone's head hit the bunk bed, and I made it look like he hit me, but he didn't. So I think I put my head in a position where it looked like, and I was like, and he didn't because he already did it, and I was like, and that's how look shit.
You have to make it look like you're going through pain.
You dick. Like, this is what I'm thinking in my head. Trust me, today, if he came up to me today, do you think you might be told about, mate, I will give you a run for your money.
Obviously, if you saw them today, it's different. But obviously, at that age, you're 12, 13, looking at people that are like 16.
Fam, do you not think those 12, 13-year-olds today will not thump him in his face, despite how old he is?
I think Nigeria is. I don't know. In my
It's
opinion,
the
a lot of the
respect thing.
seniors, it's the respect thing. But a lot of the seniors in my school, for example, were hench. They had muscles. It wasn't like over here where a year 7 might be able to go to a year 11 and punch up some skinny don. Nah, them Donnies
They were
were.
hench. And he used to be the same one that will always punch me here. So that's why anyone that punches me here, I'm almost just like whatever, because I had it for years and years, to the point where in the beginning, of course, it hurt like shit, because then it will throb.
Bone.
It will, yeah. And then it got to a point he would do it, and I'm almost just like, are you done now? Like, are you done now? Like, you know. But what I was actually trying to say is, when infecting water, going all the way back there, I would get 2 buckets before the night before. So we all used
one
to get
for him?
One for him, and obviously we all also got like, we had a balcony. We had we say a balcony. It was not really a balcony, but we had a balcony, and we used to put the buckets and line them up. So we would have like 10 buckets of water. So each of us, 10 buckets of cold water.
You still live the bougie life.
Well, if you call that bougie, right, fine.
Bro, in my boarding school, people used to steal buckets. So sometimes you would share.
That's why we would keep on the balcony, because no one will steal his water. Or he will.
Some of us used to keep, if we fetched water the night before, we'll keep it under the mattress, under the bunk.
That's
You had a way better experience than me. You had a balcony. You could go and stand on a balcony and think about your life.
Not really. Yeah, we could sort of, but it didn't work like that. Do you know what I mean?
Fair.
It didn't work like that. But we had quite an organized life, and like some people were the people that would run some of the, like that room. We were a business. Like I was pretty much like a personal assistant. I used to write his notes. So like, you know, he would get his mates' note. I would copy because I had nice handwriting. Look, whatever could save me from getting slapped is what I did. I would write his notes. Someone else would be the person that would run his errands. His school son was in our room, so he didn't do fucking.
Just for context, in Nigeria, when you went to your lessons, you had to write notes. Yeah. So let's say the teacher was teaching about Mirinda, you would have to write notes because they would come and check your notes in further lessons. And if you didn't have notes, you would get beat. Yeah. So that's why some people had to write notes for their seniors.
Yeah, we're behind. Yeah. So I would always write the notes. And his books always used to get outstanding. Bear man, I'm in JS2. He's in SS senior school. He's in like year 10. And I'm writing your notes for you. But calm, it's fine. Look, I do whatever. And I enjoyed it sort of. So it was fine. And then cut to food. There you go. Food. What was do you remember what your menu was? Your menu.
I remember Monday morning being bread and stew. And the bread was like, obviously in Nigeria we call it agege bread.
Sweet bread, they call it here.
Yeah, sweet bread or hardo bread. But even at a young age, the bread they gave us was small, fam. I never, ever, 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 ever got full up. And then they used to give us stew, and then we'd share the stew. It was like 6 people at a table because we had like a canteen. Yeah. And the tables were normally always like predefined. So you'd come, sit down, and then you'd get your food. I remember Wednesday afternoon being jollof rice and chicken. So obviously, I liked that. I think Saturday night was beans and gari. For context, gari is like powdered cassava. Cassava is like a vegetable. Yeah, so Gary in Nigeria is like it's like a cereal. You can have it with like water, sugar, milk,
I don't eat any
peanuts. Some people see Gary as like a poverty meal,
Yes, it
but
is.
I enjoyed Gary. Gary was actually
I quite like
illegal in my school. Like you couldn't bring Gary
illegal
from outside.
Imagine
it was
it's illegal.
what did it? Contraband, yeah. And then Indomie as well was contraband.
Noodles.
Yeah.
Contraband.
Yeah. So, but we used to sneak Indomie in, and if we were still hungry, we would have Indomie with cold water, fam. There was no hot water. So you would literally get a bowl, find water from wherever you got it. Maybe you get like a pure water sachet if you brought in pure water. Put the Indomie in, crunch it up with your cutlery, put the seasoning, and that was your Indomie. And it was buff. Where's the camera? It was buff. It was buff. It was beautiful. You might be squirming right now, but in boarding school, that was the thing. Anyway, yeah, that's
my silence. Nah, don't get me wrong. I went through that same experience.
So you had Indomie and cold water as well?
Yes, well, you know the thing is, I didn't eat much in Nigeria
Fair.
because I was lactose intolerant. So when they give all the tea and all that stuff, I don't drink any of that. All the food, they always had fish for some reason. Like sometimes they do chicken, sometimes they do meat. They always had fish. I don't eat fish.
You don't like fish?
I don't
the
eat
fact
fish.
you even always had fish. That's lit. I didn't always have fish.
They always had fish. I'm just like,
Oh
why
man, I
do
would
you
have eaten that fish.
I don't eat fish. So I'm like, what do you expect me to like eat? But I never said it. But
What kind of fish was it?
like full on fish that they were. I think it's like I don't really know fish. Tilapia, not
Tilapia.
But then some people have the fish head. I remember people always wanting to go for the fish head. Like the fish head always.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't know why as well. I
don't
think my
know.
mum likes fish heads.
It's disgusting. But,
Yeah.
but this is the bit you're really gonna hate me. Now, I was a bit of a pussy in my first year. 'Cause
Fair.
Bear in mind, I'm brand new to this
Yeah,
place.
I think I
I'm
was
the
probably
only.
a bit.
Bear in mind, I feel I can equate it to bullying, to be honest, because I'm the only British person. So bear in mind, I've got this accent
Yeah,
compared to them. To us, their accent is funny,
Oh, yeah.
but to them, it's
The other
it's
way
the
around.
other way
yeah.
around. Do you see what I mean? So, because I wasn't hacking it, that housemaster that looked after me in my first year, he used to buy me like Mr. Biggs and like Sweet Sensation. These are all like restaurants where you can get really nice
got
food
Mr. Biggs in boarding school.
all the time as well. All the time. Whenever it was food I didn't eat.
Just for context, getting Mr. Biggs in boarding school is like getting MacD's
That is contraband.
in boarding school when you don't even have access to it.
Yeah.
What?
But my first year only, but yeah.
Even during holidays, I
and
didn't get
used to
Mr.
have
Biggs
to-
all the time.
I used to have to eat it in his room because obviously if I...
Bro, I'll eat that anywhere.
Of
What?
course. But then he used to let me use his computer. He had a... Surprisingly, so he had a
You
computer.
were allowed to use a computer.
He had a computer.
In the hostel.
And that's when YouTube first started. So you had like, Crank That Soldier Boy. Ooh,
You were able to watch Soldier Boy
yeah,
in
that's when
boarding school.
Yeah. My first year only.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I feel jealous right now.
Yeah.
I'm
It
hating.
No, you know what? It was a difficult experience, I will say.
The fact bro, the only time I got access to a computer was when we did ICT. And even them computers, I don't even remember them
Did we use
working
computers in
properly.
ICT? No. You know, that's the only time I got access to a computer. I couldn't do anything because, bear in mind, I'm still like 11.
Fair.
But
But just having
after
access
that,
to
the
it.
only time I got access to a computer was when I was in SS2, which is year 10.
SS2 is year 11. Yeah.
Year 11, because I did like GC, so SS2s were allowed to bring laptops. No, but that was because of the program. Obviously, we're an international college. Okay.
My school was international as well. They didn't allow us to bring your laptops.
Your school,
They didn't allow us to bring. You couldn't bring PSPs, Nintendo
By
DS.
by that point, I used to bring laptops. So because I knew I was bringing my laptop, when I would come back from London, I would always bring I was obsessed with wrestling back then. So I'll always bring wrestling CDs. Right. Not even download, back then CDs.
Oh, CDs.
So I'll pack CDs from thing. I'll have my CDs there. I'll have movies and all that. And obviously, a term is like how many weeks? 12 weeks or something.
Yeah.
So it will last. And I always used to watch it, particularly it was yam and like vegetables, right? On Saturday nights. And we would have cleaned as well. And generally in my room, we'll always put our mattresses on the floor because it's all cold and we like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll put our and we'll watch wrestling. And I would never eat
I
would never eat dinner in the hall.
I
bought a cooler like a pack lunch thing, and I put my food in there. And but that, obviously this is 5 years in. The kitchen woman was
senior.
The kitchen woman was my G. Like, she used to come and be like, "Oh, Emmanuel," obviously in a Nigerian voice. She used to be so nice. She's like, come, I'll put more. And she'll put like loads more vegetables. Because she knew I wasn't a fan of yam too much. So she'll put loads of vegetables, loads. And because the vegetable was buff. So then I would have vegetable and fam.
Wait, when you say vegetable, do you mean like spinach or just
spinach,
vegetables?
Spinach.
Okay, yeah.
And it was lovely. I can't lie to you. It was lovely. Yeah. I think it sounds like I had a wonderful experience, to be honest, but it wasn't.
Compared to me, you did. I didn't get to watch no wrestling. The only kind of like media or games that that I had access to was one of the seniors in my hostel. He was, I think his parents are based over here. Hella rich. He had a Nintendo DS which he used to rent out during weekends. That was like the only access we had to like games.
My Nintendo DS got jacks. That's a whole nother story. Because I'm actually quite vexed about that shit. Because I always remember
stolen.
It got stolen.